Are you ready for some high tea?
Oh, why, yes. Pinky's up, darling.
Oh, this is a vibe.
I like this.
So, Rob, I had to get you back in the studio.
Yes.
Because 2025 is not even 3 weeks old and it's ghetto.
Life is life.
And there's been so much going on since the last time we were on the mic and we spoke.
Yes.
So I'm like, we got to tell the people. We got to catch up. So thank you for answering my frantic text. I don't know if it was like 9 o'clock at night.
It sure was.
I was like, it was like a straight up ADHD response. Like, Rob, there's too much going on. Are you free this weekend? We got to talk. We have to tell the people them.
And I had to pull up.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, I mean, a lot has gone on since the last time we were on High Vibrational Tea, everyone. So, I wanted to start off by just kind of picking up where we left off. We briefly discussed the election and things like that. So, what was your idea or thoughts about the 2024 election?
I mean, did I expect it? Yes. Am I consistently disappointed? Of course.
Yeah.
But we know America's always going to disappoint us.
Facts.
Because we showed up.
We did.
Doesn't mean everybody showed up.
That part.
Because everyone likes to say there was low poll numbers. But Black women came out to vote, as always.
That they did.
92% at that for Kamala. So.
And to touch on that, Black men did come out and vote for Kamala as well. And I didn't like how social media and Black women, we started saying all this rhetoric about Black men, don't wait for us. We were not showing up, da-da-da. But I'm like, y'all.
Black men did.
They did. So I'm like, why are we upset?
Black people as a whole. The ones who didn't show up is the alleged people of color.
And I had a friend bring up the fact that Black men were the only ones patronized to vote for Kamala. Versus the other demographics, like Obama coming out and yelling at the Black men's. Like, I know they felt some type. Well, y'all felt some type of way, I'm sure. That was kind of heavy. What was your thought on that?
So, like, for me, I always say we all show up and show out for these elections. Mm-hmm. The people that don't are the alleged people of color, as I said. So the Asians, the Latinos, those communities aren't coming out in droves to support Black people. And that's why I've always had a problem with this people of color term, including Black people, because they ain't thinking about us.
They're not.
Ever.
Yeah. And in this election, 19 million didn't even show up to poll.
No.
And a lot of these swing states flipped that never or haven't been red in a long ass time. And it's like, that really shows and it's really telling. And respectfully, Kamala, I always say it wrong. Kamala. I hear the
Yeah, Kamala.
Yeah. And it's like, she kind of dropped the ball when everybody was talking about Gaza and she couldn't be straightforward. And she was using rhetoric and wording like, oh, as the president,
it was very
president-elect, like, I'm going to lead the nation in X amount of way. But I'm like, ma'am, you already on staff and we ain't going there, you know?
And like, I think that alone presents another issue of single issue voting, where a lot of people will vote based on one issue.
Right.
Which can be good at times. So in this case of Gaza, but other times it does impede us from moving forward. And my big thing is she should have just took a stance.
Yeah.
Because she knew her voting block.
Right.
And if we are worried about a certain demographic voting against you, historically, they voted Republican.
Right.
In that gap of Jewish communities.
Mm-hmm. And also, I thought the PR run was different between the two parties. Like, Trump was on every single podcast.
But you also have to think about with Kamala, there's one big thing. She was put in the race later. She didn't have the same amount of time to put her vision out there and her words out there. Yeah. I do think Joe, he should have dropped out earlier to give her a fair shot.
There was some ego there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a hot mess with the whole election. And honestly, I can truly say I felt kind of relieved that he won because I felt like I would have had more anxiety with her winning out of fear of what MAGA would have done. Out of outrage, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, it was like the lesser of two evils, but I'm like, okay, it's so weird to say out loud, like I feel safer because I felt like if we did get a first Black woman president, I feel like Black women would have been a target for hate crimes. I mean, at the end of the day, we're still the most unprotected, but I felt like we would have been capital unprotected.
I do feel like,
respectfully,
the flip of it, that now he is in power once again, it's emboldening them.
Baby.
And we're in more danger
racism is so loud. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Racism has always been here.
Yeah.
But to see how loud it is going to get and in our faces, that's what concerns me.
We have a whole oligarchy right now. It's crazy.
It's
him appointing his friends.
Yeah, it's the rise of fascism as well, which people tend to ignore.
Yeah.
Because this is just like a repetition of things that happen historically.
Age of Aquarius is here, y'all. Age of Aquarius. Everything is out in the open and we know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy because, like, yeah, he won, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's cheering. But when he started to name his elect people, Dr. Oz, Elon, I was like, wait a second.
It's a bunch of celebrities because he doesn't have a full understanding of what politics even are.
He's still a celebrity apprentice.
Exactly.
Period.
And he himself is only in the world of being a celebrity.
Right.
Because I would love to see his qualifications education-wise because he doesn't know a thing.
He doesn't. Who's in charge of the Board of Education now? Was it?
I don't know.
I can't remember. Child, well, now they're trying to get rid of it.
Linda McMahon. Isn't she the one?
Oh, maybe?
Maybe.
Fact check. We're going to fact check it.
Because, you know, I'll be mixing up them white women.
That part. But I'm just like, and even with that, was the H-1B5?
Oh, yes. The H-1B.
The H-1B visas. Please elaborate.
So let's quickly explain it. So basically, you are to work here if you are a skilled worker. So we need to think about in tech in particular. They're booming off of this.
Of course.
And the country that they're taking it from the most is India.
India, of course. That's why he got Vivek there.
Exactly. The Indian voting bloc is very Republican.
Very much so.
So they're feeding into it.
Yeah.
But I also need people to realize this is indentured servitude just remixed.
Yes.
And India has constantly been a victim of that throughout their history.
They have a permanent underclass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even we're thinking about how many Indians are around the world because of indentured servitude. So if you look at countries like Trinidad, Guyana, Fiji, Mauritius, their populations are the result of indentured servitude. So now it's just being remixed.
Yeah.
Because we're saying, oh, bring your skilled workers. You could work here for a certain amount of time.
Right.
And then if your employer chooses to sponsor you to stay here, they can.
Right.
But that costs a lot of money. They will just find another person.
Exactly.
So.
And then this is just to let people know because MAGA is having an issue now. Like, they're all, hey, Trump. Yeah, Elon, Tesla's for everybody. But then Elon's like, all right, well, we're going to have this H1. And all these qualified Americans are not going to have these jobs because they are going to outsource to other foreign native countries, pay them way less. Maybe they'll kick them out. Maybe they'll let them stay. And now there goes American jobs.
But I'm like, also is an immigrant from South Africa.
That part. And MAGA is upset. Like, you're taking our jobs. But I'm just sitting here like, ain't that what you want?
Listen, the girls are fighting amongst each other.
Right. I'm like, ain't that your friend, though? That was your friend.
That was your friend.
That you invited to the cookout. But it's like, pero not my problem. But it is, though. And it's just like craziness. Just seeing, and this is just happening the first week and a half.
Yeah.
California's on fire.
It is.
And it's just so sad of what's going on there. 2024 was the record hottest year of California history. It's been climbing for the past 10 years.
Yeah, because of climate change and people
emissions.
Are ignoring it.
Yeah. A lot from the tech companies as well as industrializing, fast fashion, you name it.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy how I have a lot of conspiracy theories. There is some science behind it.
Yeah.
You know, what did someone say? It was like when a fire marries a tornado and it takes over.
Yeah.
And like Cali's been dry. But Mayor Baz, that situation, child.
I think she is doing her best. Sometimes.
Child.
Sometimes.
She was in Dirty December in Ghana.
You know, meaning some of the time.
Child. She wasn't trying to fly back. She was like, wait a second.
Listen.
She thought it was a little fire. But then she was like, oh.
Yeah, I got to get back home.
Right.
But I didn't like people like Khloe Kardashian in particular coming at her. Because I know the undertone of it.
Right.
Because you will always come at a black woman. But
For
you don't
real.
say nothing about your cheating man.
Respectfully.
So
I'm like, I have all the smoke.
For black women, but never for a black man.
That part.
you be on him.
Third
like,
trimester, Tristan.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but then for them to speak so boldly, like, oh, this is a joke, bitch. Y'all spent 9 years worth of water in a month during a drought.
That and
lower
my
your
thing
tone.
is in California, the indigenous populations there were able to control things because they had controlled fires.
Yeah.
They understood these practices.
Yep.
But obviously, due to colonization, all those indigenous people have been kicked out and sent to places like Oklahoma.
Yeah.
On reservations. So, like, if we listen to our indigenous people, we might be doing better.
I was also reading an article about how there's a lot of foreign, like, vegetation there, too, from all of the different people coming in. And, like, they have a lot of eucalyptus trees there, so which are lighting up like fire. On top of the whole fact that they cut the budget, $19.8 million, I think, the same year before the fires happened. And I'm just like, if y'all know California is hot and it's getting hotter, it's been getting hotter for the past 10 years, why would you cut the budget?
Oh, because
you know what I'm saying?
There's a huge minority population in California where the minorities are becoming the majority. So they're not caring anymore.
Right.
Because there's so many Asian people moving in, Latinos. There's a huge Black community that's often ignored.
Right.
So, like, everyone's talking about, oh, rich white people's houses are burning down. We don't care. But there's historic communities of color, specifically Black communities, that are being burnt down, like Altadena.
Altadena. Yes. Please expand on that.
So, like, Black people moved in droves out west and were able to buy homes for the first time. Altadena is that example of it. So you have multi-generational middle-class Black communities burnt down now.
Yeah.
So I was able to understand it a little bit more. I have some family who moved out there years ago.
Word.
And, like, being able to understand that there are these big Black communities over there that are not seen.
Yeah.
Especially on film and TV.
Yeah.
And nobody is caring about them. And we're going to see rich white people take over.
Of course.
They're going to be like, oh, it's burnt down.
These companies are going to rebuild like this.
And that's where the conspiracy theory, I kind of understand.
Low key.
Because it's given, Tulsa again, if we know about Tulsa. So
we do. And I thought what was interesting was how first it was one fire. And then it was the Eaton fire.
Yeah.
And then Hidden Hills, I guess. And then Hidden Hills in Santa Monica, that got compressed real easy. I'm like, oh, because that's too close to the rich, right? But the other ones burning crazy. And I didn't like the celebrity backlash either because I'm like, Janae Aiko was one of those celebrities who was talking about her house burning down, and people were like, well, you're rich, you could rebuild, your husband could buy you a house. And she checked them people real quick, like, that's not my husband.
I'm not that rich, and that's not my husband.
Period. But Big Sean, you need to marry that girl. No shade, but shade. And it was just like, damn, because I could never imagine, like, I have one story, this woman left her disabled son in the fire.
Yes, he said she can go and that she needs to save herself.
And the bitch left and saved herself and got on the camera, God's camera.
I mean, she said, screw them kids. I can have another you in a minute. Matter of fact, he'll be here in 9 months.
Child.
That's it.
Listen, I'm just like, ma'am, if you took that L, I would not be telling the internet, let alone interviewing
I would have
been
real quiet. I've been like, oh, my baby. He went
and
up
let's
to
talk
glory
about
that way.
the incarcerated firemen due to this cut budget.
Oh, yes.
And
but they've always done that. This goes back.
I didn't know.
To indentured servitude. This is actually slavery because if we look at the 13th Amendment, slavery is still legal if you are imprisoned. They use them as slave labor.
That's crazy. See, if I was enslaved, I don't want to say enslaved, but if I was a convict working for the fire department, that fire was crazy as hell. The way I would have faked my death and like slid, but I'm like, how do they even watch and keep everything contained when it's crazy like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And they're putting vulnerable people to do it because they see them as expendable.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, they're already in prison.
I'm pretty
they
sure.
Could die.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if there were casualties, it wasn't like the main crew.
I highly doubt it.
And it's just so sad to see like the fire department talking to the public saying like, there's only 29 stations in LA County. We don't have the resources or the power to sit here and, take care of all 4 fires. And then they did catch some arsonists, so they quote unquote speak. I do think it was kind of quinkadinkly that all this happened. And child, I even heard a rumor that a lot of these celebrities' houses burnt down because there's evidence about Diddy. I said, child,
if y'all don't stop with this. Speaking of Diddy, though.
That part.
Did you hear about Diddy done?
Diddy done.
Girl, Diddy done, the party done.
It's done.
I love it. Because Wendy, did you hear about that, girl?
Yes, I did. I was listening. I was like,
how you doing? How you sipping?
How you doing? For real. Oh my God, Wendy. And we're going to get to Wendy later on this episode for sure.
Yes.
But, let's get to Wendy now because that's on my spirit.
Yes.
And that's also why I hit you up because I was like, bro.
Because everybody who knows me, that's my area of expertise.
Rob need a purple chair, y'all. Hot topics.
Listen,
this is why
been doing it for years.
High Vibrational Tea with Lil Rob.
But Wendy has been on my spirit. So, I love the world of media.
Mm-hmm.
And she has been that queen of media for me.
For sure.
Growing up in New York.
Absolutely.
And they were saying that she was incapacitated. We saw her documentary. She did appear very differently because she would never take her wig off. Ever. That's how I knew something was wrong.
We all knew what type of wigs Wendy had.
Yep. And to see her like that in that state, very fragile, I did think she was incapacitated at the time. But upon hearing her on The Breakfast Club, Wendy's fine.
Yeah, she was probably on all those fucking 7-8 pills that they give her, right?
Along with the alcoholism that she admits to suffering from.
And think about, I really got into Wendy the last year, right before she got off of air, even though I've always watched her, but it was part of my routine now because I was getting all my tea. Yeah. And she was getting hot, and this is where I'm going to go back to that conspiracy theory. She was getting hot right before because she covered the Epstein stuff. Because I remember specifically, she was covering the Epstein stuff, and she was really going in on it. Which I'm like, and then all that stuff with Kevin on backstage.
That's my biggest thing, though, is her and instead of Kelvin, her husband.
Kelvin, I'm sorry.
Because he wanted to take funds from her. So initially I thought, Wendy is plotting something right now. She's going away for a little bit so she doesn't have to pay this man money along with his little side piece.
Yeah.
But as time went on, we see the gravity of the situation, that conservatorship.
Yeah.
And conservatorships can be beneficial to some people if their families are not managing their funds correctly because they're incapacitated. Right. But she has a loving family.
She has a whole family. She has a whole son.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is this legal when someone has immediate family that can take care of things? And she's a celebrity. Yeah. Let's not act like Wendy is a regular schmegular podcaster just trying to grow her channel like me.
That part.
But she is a well-known celebrity.
And my thing too is her family is well off. So if you are from the tri-state area, you understand where she grew up. She grew up around Ocean Township and Asbury Park. These are wealthier areas. She's not poor. And her sister, her brother are not poor people.
Right.
So they're not trying to come for her funds. They're fine. They're well off. So I'm confused as to why this woman, I believe her name was Sabrina.
Yeah,
Morrissey, yes, say her name. So she has control of these funds. And it's not clicking.
And I'm like, what judge appointed guardianship versus, okay, you know what? How does it get to the judge? Versus, how does it leave the doctor to the judge? Yeah, she passed out on camera on Halloween.
But that
was hot.
A medical episode,
And I really feel like they took out Wendy at a certain time because they knew they was going to take out Diddy. And they did not want Wendy to hear, to spearhead that.
Yeah, because
I'm like, she was way out the way.
Yeah, she's been saying it since the 90s. Right. That's why she got kicked off of Hot 97.
Yep.
Because she started really telling his story.
Right.
And at the time, he really controlled New York media.
Yeah.
So he was able to get her off. But she still bounced back. She just went over to Philly.
Yeah.
And she was on their stations, and we got to hear her as well. but she's been very consistent on exposing the behind the scenes in the hip hop world.
Yeah.
Because these things aren't new. They're new to a lot of people.
Right.
Because now it's entering mainstream. But people from New York, we always knew Diddy was up to things.
Diddy the diddler. He was diddling.
Yep. And like for Wendy in particular, she's really been ardent and like struggling to get people to know that she is okay.
Yeah.
And by doing this interview, we see that she's of sound mind.
They took her cats.
The cats, that
devastation.
My heart. I was about to die because she loved them cats.
Yeah, well, chit-chat in my way?
Yes.
So cute. And I'm just like, as a new cat mom, I'm like, damn, like that's her comfort, support. And I'm like, why y'all got her in the 5th story? She's so cute too. She talking about something. These people are in their 80s and 90s. I do not talk to them.
Yep. She was like, listen, I'm young. I'm popping. I'm only 60.
She's looking at her body. She just told Jason she ready to go out on date.
Yeah.
And she ready to be outside. And y'all need to help her get outside.
She said her body is like a party in Boston. It's tea. She got it still. So we need to make sure that, she gets back out there dipping and doing it, as she once said.
Yeah.
So
she even mentioned how like she just wants to go back home. She wants to have the New York retirement plan, which is move down south to Florida, Miami, retire with her family. That's where everyone is. And I was getting a hint that she wanted to like do not the show again, but she just want to talk to people again.
Yeah, she wants to do radio.
Yeah.
And I think that would be best for her because physically she's going through a lot with lymphedema and Graves' disease. And anyone with an autoimmune disorder knows that can really take you out. But doing the podcast or radio could be beneficial. She could do it from home.
That part. First, could you imagine a Wendy podcast, unfiltered, no execs to tell her what to do and say?
Listen,
the tea would be spilled. Okay. Shit, they might try to take one. Yeah. Like, listen, because she know too much.
I would be tuned in every single day.
Right? I'm like, put me on the PR team, Wendy. I'm outside. It just makes me sad of what's going on with that. And I really do hope free Wendy. She has a GoFundMe.
Yes.
Which, by the way, did you see the GoFundMe?
I did not.
It has a $50K, goal, right? Last time I looked at it, it was like 17.8K. And when I looked at who was donating, because, I be a little nosy, like, all right. It's regular fans like us. And I'm just like, hold on now. Now, I know Wendy may have made a few enemies in her career, but she has some friends. That 50K should be a blink snap.
That's what I'm saying,
for a lot
because
of y'all.
She is well connected in New York and New Jersey.
Yeah. So I'm like, wait a second. I was kind of like, okay, this GoFundMe a little bit too low. It don't make no sense. But it should have been like taken care of in a day, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like all these celebrities, Charlamagne, Jason, y'all could have dropped 20 stacks just like
That's
that.
That's what I'm saying. A little something for Wendy.
But
bless
like,
her.
And I feel her when she says she's afraid of what the repercussions are going to be for speaking out. And just like Black women, sometimes when we step out there, there's no one championing for us.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's why, like, I see a disparity between the Free Britney movement and the Free Wendy movement.
Yes, because that's the first time the public ever heard of something like that.
A white woman's tears, they will swoop in. But I don't think that the public is going to rally around Wendy.
Do you think it's because of her race or her line of work?
I think both. Because being a Black woman and speaking your mind has always been an issue in the media, in the world. And she's done it unapologetically.
That part.
So people are going to be vexed about that.
A little bit.
And I feel like they're not going to rally behind her in the same way they did with Britney.
Yeah.
Because they see white womanhood is so fragile.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not a big fan of the speech anti-woman because it wasn't actually said by Sojourner Truth. But the idea behind it is like, aren't I a woman too? If these white women get all these things, they get to be soft and pink and taken care of.
Yeah.
As a Black woman, why can't you receive the same treatment? And I think Wendy says it all the time. She's treated very differently from the rest of the world.
Yeah. Even Sherry Shepherd took her time slot. Sherry ain't Wendy. Sherry, you came out of left field.
Can we talk about that? So
low key.
Sherry, beautiful, nice, kind woman.
Sweet.
I've seen her in Harlem a bunch of times. Love her. But she's not interesting enough. Boring. I cannot do the nice thing all day. I need a joke. I need a quip. I need
a little tea.
It's very much giving water. It's good for your health.
And then Jennifer, the only thing popping about Jennifer podcast is that hallway dance.
Oh, that little sound tunnel thing.
Hey,
it's
ready
Mufasa.
To go. First of all, Pierre,
that's Mufasa.
I said, what kind of old daddy dance was that?
Listen,
okay,
he was electric sliding.
Okay, but he fine though, so that's why he's getting away with it.
But I love the Soul Train line. But Jennifer Hudson, one thing about her, because as an educator, I know when there's a reading gap. So as she is reading, she looks at the camera just like this. So today we have Val here. She be singing this stuff.
Right.
And then she goes into the singing and it's very loud.
Because she can't sing.
She can sing.
She will divert.
But that's why I'm like, know your ministry.
Yes.
Because baby girl cannot read off that teleprompter.
Yeah.
It's very much giving, I do, I said, I did, I would.
And and I just feel like since Wendy has left, because I saw what they try to do there. When she was going through her stuff and they were doing that transition, like, oh, Wendy's on break.
Yeah, and
we're
they
all
had guests.
taking guests. I was like, wait a second, y'all chesting to see who gonna take this slot. I really thought Nick Cannon was fire, and I loved Kiki. Did Kiki?
Yes, Kiki did.
I love Kiki.
And I always said, I feel like Kiki Palmer, she did have a talk show when she was younger. I just thought it wasn't the right time for her.
Yeah.
Because as such a young person, you don't have enough life experience yet to really speak when you are a talk show host. Because she can interview down.
Yes, I love her podcast. I'm trying to get on the PR team.
That's why I love it now, because she's stepping into her grown womanhood. She's a mother. She's had more experiences. So she can speak on things.
Yeah.
And I felt like she would have been a better choice than Sherry.
Yeah, they needed, and it's so oversaturated. You have Sherry, Jennifer, Robin, I think, right? I don't even watch, or is Robin the one with the sleek black pixie?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know. Kelly, Drew crying every time.
Oh my God. Drew gets me because the touching people and being in their personal space, it's very much like, you see me, I see you.
I'm like, bitch, I need space.
And then it's always like talking out the side of her mouth. She's like, well, I just really understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
And I'm like, baby girl, no, you don't. You was on ET. You good.
But it's like, but I do feel like she's seen that Hollywood trauma, that dark web. Yeah.
But I also need the personal space sometimes.
Yeah.
Because she touches people. Mary J. killed me. She kept her at a distance.
Yeah.
Because she was just like, I just want to hold your hand.
She's like, no, not too much.
No, not too much.
Right. Because Mary J's from New York, ain't she?
Yes, she is. Yonkers.
Okay, not too much. So I thought that was very, because I'm like, you know what? Because also Ellen left the airways around the same time, or if not after or before Wendy.
Before.
So,
but I also felt like she had her own thing. It was like, feel good stuff. We couldn't do anything or talk about real things. And the world had changed. So Ellen, she was kind of a relic of the past. Like, we have too much going on. It's the same thing with The Real. The Real became a relic very quickly because they couldn't talk about real things.
They couldn't keep it real. Like, how you named a real, you can't even keep it real.
Because I felt like they couldn't talk about real political issues that were happening.
Right.
And you can't ignore it. Because at the beginning when they started, we could do those fun things under the Obama administration.
Right.
Then stuff got serious.
Yeah.
And they still wanted to talk about, so tell me, what was your dating life like?
Like, girl, we have a tyrant as our president.
Yes.
It's like, how we go from smooth ass Obama to this.
I know.
That's another episode. But before we step off Ellen, did you hear the tea about Twitch's wife and her book about him?
Oh, she was waiting. The body barely cold, and she's telling all of his business.
She waited 2 years exact. But 2 months to change her name legally, NDA at the funeral.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to bring race into it because I feel
think
like...
we should.
You think we should?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. This white woman...
Same.
No, but I'm like... Well, one of his friends mentioned how, quote unquote, you white women fetishize us black men, blah, blah, blah. But no, I'm going to take race out of it. I'm just looking at her directly. I didn't like the fact that she's capitalizing off his death immediately. Your children are still in the grieving process. You know what I'm saying? And you're barring your children from having a relationship with his family.
And that's my
thing
about especially biracial families is the mother is usually the carrier of culture in your family. So these kids are not going to have a true connection to their blackness because they can't even see their black family.
Right.
And I think that's really purposeful on her part.
Yeah.
She likes a black man sexually.
Yeah.
But
it was popular at the time. The 2010s, the Kardashians were reigning. If you didn't have a black man, and you weren't shit.
She wanted some little exotic kids. And that happens a lot of the time.
And she didn't comb that baby hair, but all right.
That's what I'm saying. Because that baby needed something. Some blue magic, some pink lotion, you know.
The mixed kids, just a little Demlin brush.
Something.
Little ponytails, pigtails.
But that's why you need to see the black family. Because your cousin and them going to help you.
And I didn't like the fact that she... Okay, granted, yeah, they're going... She has to go through his stuff. That's normal. But the fact that you did, quote unquote, find this alleged journal, read the journal, and then told the public about what he wrote about being essayed as a young child, why is that our business?
That's
why
my
is that our
thing.
business?
Like, you tarnish his name when he's not even here to talk about it himself.
Yeah.
That was a private thought. And he suffered enough. He killed himself.
Right.
And you are further pushing the suffering.
Yeah, I'm starting to think you was the problem.
Exactly.
And
she was like, the 13th reason.
The 13th reason. Oh, what a great. I loved Clay.
Right.
And I was just like, it's giving. And the fact that she actually got into another relationship so quick was very interesting. So this is my conspiracy theory. Sloan Bella, who is the psychic who predicted the whole Diddy thing and the Kim Porter thing.
You telling me.
She did a video on Twitch's death that I saw, just because I was just on a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And then it was very interesting because I saw that first and then I saw this happen. I said, hold on, I got to circle back.
Things are clicking.
Things are clicking and connecting. And now people are saying that it could have been connected to issues that were going on with Ellen's show and things that were going on behind the scene. Because, they had a lot
Ellen had a controversy.
Yeah, she did. That's why she had to get off.
Yeah.
Yeah. All these racial allegations and Hollywood, weird. I understand why California is on fire. It's giving Revelations. I keep telling everybody, it's Revelations outside.
I've been saying that. Like the old people who be preaching outside. I'm like, wait, you actually got something right.
Even New York is freaking out. First of all, we had our first earthquake last year. Wild.
No, we had earthquakes before.
Did we? Well, you would know before me.
Because I grew up here. So we had earthquakes in about the 2010s, early 2010s. So earthquakes, they happen because in New Jersey, they often happen, but small ones. But the fires here, because I don't know if you remember, Prospect Park was on fire. And like, literally, I can see how much of the forest is gone now. Because you could see the tree cover is gone.
Yeah. And even now, you can't even sleep on the subway no more in New York. The lady who got set on fire.
Yes.
Early morning, 7 o'clock. I'm like, that's early morning commute.
I'm
like, who's psycho at 7 a.m. in the morning? 4 or 5 o'clock?
Like you woke up and chose violence?
Yes. And I'm thinking like she was probably a woman working a night shift on her way home. You don't know if she had kids. It's just like, and now I'm working up in Midtown. Yeah. So I have to take that long ass commute from Brooklyn. And I'm just like, I pray every day. Oh, I just did it backwards. This way, Lord. Not the backwards. And I pray every day. I'm like, and now I'm like paranoid again. I'm like, all right, let me peep game. Because then you have all this stuff. Because remember when the Gaza-Israel stuff was really popping in New York and we saw real life shit in Brooklyn going down. And I'm just like, I'm just 2025, although I know it's supposed to be a 9-year year of the snake where everyone's shedding their layers, shedding their skin. America's showing its whole ass. It's not even a month yet, and I'm just exhausted. Emotionally, spiritually.
It's draining.
Very much so.
And like, when you see it every day, this is why sometimes I have to unplug.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, there's no good news anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just like trying to find those little joy factors is very difficult.
Yeah.
And I know people have it really bad across the world.
Yeah.
But America, you in danger, girl.
Getting ghetto.
Just saying,
it's Revelations.
It's a white refrigerator.
Yeah. Why a white refrigerator?
Oh, child, that's the ghetto.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Gotta get you some shoes, find you a home.
Oh, my gosh, homeless sexuals. It is that season, though. It's winter.
Oh, it is. That's why
it's cold. Oh, can I tell you, I have not, I forgot that it actually snows in December. Like, it's supposed to snow in December.
It's supposed to.
Like, I packed away my snowshoes in storage. I'm like, all right, I don't need these things.
Oh, no, I got my butters, my fur. I'm ready.
God. I love butters. I swear they look good on everybody here.
Me too.
They do. I don't want to get them, though, because I feel like my feet be too big. Listen, but on a man, I'm like, ugh. Like, my boyfriend, I got him, it was so bad. I got him this cute little jumpsuit for Christmas. Yeah. And he put it on with his butters. I was like, oh, no, we're not going outside.
Oh, no, somebody gonna snatch him up.
Yes, he looked too good. But that's like the national shoe of New York, I think.
Yeah, it's identifying. And you're Yankee fitted.
Yankee fitted.
I love a Yankee fitted.
Yeah, you do.
You know I do. I always have different versions.
Yeah, your fashion game, A1.
Listen, I'll be trying.
Yeah. So what do you have planned for this year, Rob?
So for this year, one thing I'm really big on is growing myself professionally, I will say.
I love that.
You know, I do enjoy this space.
Oh, yes.
I love talking. And also, I can officially announce here, I'm no longer in the classroom.
Oh, my gosh.
So that has been such a big win.
As an educator.
Yeah, because now I'm in a leadership position.
As you should be.
Yeah, you know, a little AP role.
Is that what all teachers aspire to be, not in the classroom?
No, I love the classroom. Okay. Like, I still jump in some days and will teach a class because I miss it. Mm-hmm. But being now an assistant principal, you know, I'm the Kamala Harris now.
Okay.
That I do
with
enjoy.
Action.
Exactly. Action, not a bag of mouth. But
not a bag of mouth.
Remember that? So I can do things that I always wanted to do, you know, like I was telling Val before we got here. Yeah. I got a science lab going. I have a library going for kids.
Dexter's laboratory.
Yes.
Vibes.
You know, I have art classes that I'm launching. So like things that I always wanted as a kid, I'm able to do.
Yeah.
And I want to tap into my creative stuff too, because I do love being on the mic. I love talking.
Yes, you do. And you're so good at it.
I think
so. Je ne sais quoi.
You know,
not everybody can be on the mic. Like all these podcasters, it's a talent.
It is. You know, and I just like to run my mouth. That's really what it is.
Facts.
Because I remember when I started college, I went for this first, as I told you. And I transferred into a teaching program. And the first thing they asked, why would you make the switch? And my honest answer was, both jobs, I just get to talk all day.
Yeah.
And even as a teacher, I love my purple chair. Yeah. I ordered one specifically so I can talk and do the hot topics. Because I feel like that's what I need to do in life is use my voice.
And with that dash of history, because I love the knowledge and the just like the real life essence you bring to these topics and making it relatable for people to like digest it, you know what I'm saying?
Because I want people to always learn. We're always students.
Yeah.
But my thing is make it fun.
Yeah.
I like to talk about
TikTok
lighthearted
University.
Things. Exactly.
Well, speaking about TikTok.
Oh, it's about to be done just like Diddy.
Done like Diddy. I don't know. I feel like, do you think when you heard that rumor about
I think it's
floating
gonna
it to Elon to buy TikTok?
I don't think he's going to buy it because
he already got X.
We have to think about why don't they want it? Because it was used as a political tool to spread messages. And now we're going to be under a new regime.
Yeah.
And know how I say regime because that's how he's acting.
Yeah.
And having people speak freely is something he's terrified of, I think. And we have so much power because we're not minorities. We're the majority.
That part. Now, before we wrap up, I just want to get your insight on what do you think 2025 is going to be like for the remainder of the year? Like, what are some things that you're concerned about, happy about, optimistic about?
I am very concerned about the state of education.
Yikes.
If we don't have a proper Department of Education.
Yeah.
I'm just very concerned about us as people in the United States, especially Black and brown people, having basic rights still that can be snatched away. And women, specifically women's rights, are being snatched at every moment.
Left and right.
So I need people to think on their local level. I know I say this ad nauseum, but vote in your local elections, please.
Yeah.
Because I'm very worried. But I'm also happy about how young people are getting so involved.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of hope for the future, especially seeing teenagers in particular as they transition into voting age, that we are in good hands with those kids, you know?
Aww. Well, that's good. I would trust your opinion seeing that you actually are in depth with these kids.
Yeah, you know,
I just see the TikTok dancing ones.
It's not the kids that Whitney sang about, just saying, but there's hope with them. They have a different perspective. they've had to grow up through different circumstances that I couldn't imagine as a kid. Global pandemics, seeing all this strife and war and protest and political unrest.
Yeah.
I didn't see that as a kid.
Yeah.
You know?
We were in such a Pleasantville of millennialness.
Yeah, like the 90s
playing outside.
and 2000s, we had tragic events, but it wasn't all the time. It was a one-off thing.
Social media really just highlights things like that.
Yeah, because we see it every day now. And these kids are so smart.
Yeah.
And I feel like people are always talking about, oh, the kids, you know, they're not learning enough. But they're not focusing on these kids who have critical thinking.
Yeah.
Like, the children very much are our future. And they are going to take care of us, God willing.
Hopefully, if they don't quit on us first.
Hope not.
Well, thank you. Some of the things I'm worried about in 2025, well, one, just to circle back to the fires in California.
Yeah.
Now, I believe there are parts still on fire right now, but it is ceasing down. But now some elected officials are talking about how they may not vote in favor of giving California aid because they didn't, quote unquote, align with their initiative party or whatever. And I question it because it's like we have all the money and the budget to fund the war in Israel, give it to Ukraine. But here, our backyard is literally on fire and you guys are playing games like you don't want to help. Like, yeah, Biden cut him that little $700 check. Okay, but we need real help. We need the National Guard. We need Red Cross. Like, where's the movement? So, and then again, more, like you mentioned, more regular people were affected versus these high-end celebrities, insurances cutting off the coverage before. So it's like a lot of these people are either not going to have the funds to rebuild. Yeah. And then California had a homelessness problem to begin with.
Yes, and it's going to increase.
So I'm like, what's going to go on there? And for some reason, I just like, my spirit is like, there's a lot of things that are going to happen. And I do feel like some of this stuff is being orchestrated, you know?
Oh, definitely.
And I'm just like, all right. So that's why I'm like, us New Yorkers, I'm like, all right, I'm on guard all year. And I just I don't want my anxiety to be too much.
Yeah.
And then, like you mentioned, women's rights. It's like, okay, what we really trying to talk about? Because it's like, I'm at the point where I'm like, I have to make a decision fairly soon if I'm going to start a family or I'm going to just raise myself. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's like, so there's a lot of questions, and especially like seeing all these things and the conversations that are being had so early. It's like, all right, y'all don't look like y'all got it together. But I will say optimistically, Trump, he's going to be our president like in 2 days officially.
I know.
All the shade and tea and Obama cackling, kicking, but we ain't going to talk about.
I'm just saying Michelle not going to be there.
She said that. That's because Obama's out there kicking. But you know what? He had a kiki. He's sitting right next to him. Nobody wanted to sit next to him. He's a gentleman. You know, he was.
Why you laughing with him?
He was probably like, yeah.
Why you laughing, Barry?
But you know, Obama's smooth. He's smooth. You know, and Trump is funny. At the end of the day, he's an asshole, but he's funny as fuck, low key. So I don't think he's that funny per se to show all his wisdom teeth.
Yeah. I'm just bringing the energy of Michelle for the rest of the year. I will not be present if there's foolery. I'm good on it. I show up for the things that I need to, and that's it.
That part. But to close off my point, I'm like, all right, Trump, we got these fires. We got MAGA mad as fuck because y'all about to take their jobs. This is the most perfect time for you to make America great again. Now, if you could come in here and quote unquote say what you say you're going to do, as in helping these families recover, giving California the proper aid that they need, because ain't no reason why these hydrants should have been dry. We're going to talk about the mayor later. But, you know, if you could really come in and actually use your power to good strength, and now we have that ceasefire, which is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, if you could come in here and quote unquote, like, prove to us who don't believe you and make America great again. That's how I feel like you can make America great, by taking care of America first versus all these external things. Because he's already talking about these tariffs. Sheen about to go up. Fashion Nova, y'all better start recycling these outfits, mama. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But
yo, these Sheen girls are having it.
Will not be great again. You showed me who you are one time, and I believe you. Yeah. And that's that on that.
Period. So it's like, just like, you know what? At this point, it's like, what can I do? I can't fight. He's our president. I mean, I'm still going to be on guard, the next 4 years.
Stay ready so you don't got to get ready.
That part. So it's just like, all right, come in here, do your job. And like fix shit. Let's stop all this talk because he likes to talk, but he likes to show his ass the first day and start scratching things and getting rid of things and stuff like that. I'm apprehensive as to what he's gonna get rid of because it's like this domino effect, and you're literally creating this oligarchy of high-powered people who aren't even going to be paying taxes. Like,
and they're not qualified.
We're going to be paying to rebuild America, and it's just like, bro, we ain't got it. The eggs are still $10, and people don't realize how inflation works. Once it's up, it's up.
That's it.
But I'm like, you need to raise everybody else's, salaries. There's a lot to be done.
A lot.
But to your point, us as the people really need to start voting for the people who are like-minded to who's in the neighborhood. It starts from the bottom.
Yes, and that's what I need everyone to understand.
Yeah.
We still have political power.
Yeah.
I don't want people to think we have none at all. So y'all got to do what you need to do.
Yes. So that being said, guys, I'd like to thank you for another episode of High Vibrational Tea with Lil Rob.
Yes.
Season 2 is coming out. We're starting pre-production in spring. It's going to have new vibes, new segments, new guests, more tea with Lil Rob.
Yes.
We're going to be out here surviving this ghetto together. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow the podcast, Passenger Seat Parlay, Lil Rob, and myself, Valkyrie Rain.
See y'all soon.
Bye.
Bye.